Welcome, fascinating viewers, to another exciting update from magazine news and gossip. Have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes of the most talked about celebrity stories? Have you ever imagined that there could be hidden truths waiting to be revealed, truths that not even the most experienced tabloids can uncover? And what if I told you that one of the most private figures in the industry just spoke out, spilling a secret that no one saw coming? Intrigued yet? Well, buckle up, because what we have for you today is a confession that's bound to shake the very core of what you thought you knew about two of the most beloved stars. Today, we're diving deep into an unexpected revelation by none other than Can-Demet-Çağatay, a man who, until now, has remained as elusive as the wind when it comes to his personal life. Known for his privacy, his silence amid the chaos of fame, and his deliberate absence from the media circus, Can-Demet's words struck like a thunderclap. It was not in a formal interview, nor in a press conference, but rather in a personal moment, one that unexpectedly went viral. In this intimate conversation, which captivated fans worldwide, Can-Demet shared insights into the relationship between two celebrities that has had everyone talking for years, Can-Demet and Demet-Özdemir. In a calm yet impactful tone, Can-Demet revealed something that few could have predicted, a bond between Can and Demet that, despite the passage of time, still burns quietly beneath the surface. But what exactly did he mean? Can love truly survive the noise of public life and the pressures of fame? And what does it really mean when a relationship that was once a fairy tale falls apart? Can-Demet didn't just speculate. He spoke from the heart, offering a rare and genuine perspective that only someone who truly understands could give. He told us that sometimes the most powerful love is not the one that's paraded in front of the cameras, but the one that stays hidden, protected from the spotlight. Sometimes, he shared, the strongest love is not the one that is shown, but the one that is hidden so as not to be destroyed by the noise. Those words didn't just hang in the air, they lingered. No one expected him to address such a sensitive topic, but there it was, laid bare for the world to hear. Can-Demet's confession wasn't about rumors or speculative gossip. It wasn't about fan theories or shallow stories. It was about real experiences, about being close enough to witness something that the public would never have access to. His insight into the complex dynamic between Can and Demet was something only someone who had been truly close to them could offer. And, in his eyes, despite everything that had happened, there was still something profound between them. A connection that, according to Can-Demet, could never truly be severed, no matter the distance. He went on to explain that he had often observed the way Can and Demet would look at each other when they thought no one was watching. These weren't dramatic gestures, nor public displays of affection. No, this was something much deeper, something subtle, sincere, and almost sacred. When someone looks at you like that, Can-Demet confessed, you realize that there are stories that neither time nor pride can erase. But what was even more telling was the way they spoke about each other, even after they had parted ways. Their words, though careful, carried an undeniable weight. There was no bitterness in their tones, no resentment, only a deep, unspoken understanding. Can-Demet mentioned how, in the awkwardness of public events and professional encounters, there was a tension that hung between them, not because of animosity, but because of something unfinished, something unresolved. He recalled how Demet would often avoid certain topics, how Can's expression would change when his ex-girlfriend's name came up. It was as if their emotions were carefully guarded, balanced on a fragile edge that no one else was supposed to touch. That, Can-Demet said, is the burden of true love that has not had its outcome. His voice was measured, devoid of drama, but the sincerity in his words spoke volumes. He wasn't casting judgment. He was simply reflecting on what he had seen and felt. The most surprising part of his confession, however, came when he admitted that, at one point, he had considered intervening. But not to rekindle their romance, and not to break them apart. No, he had thought about stepping in to help them. He had considered sharing his perspective, telling them what he had observed from the outside. That perhaps, despite all the tension and distance, there was still something worth salvaging. But in the end, he didn't. You can't get between two people who truly love each other, even if they are at war, he stated, his voice full of wisdom. For many, Can-Demet's words were the confirmation of a long-held belief. It was as if, after all these years, someone had finally given voice to what millions of fans had been sensing. There was still something there between Can and Demet. Whether they ever acknowledged it or not, their bond was undeniable. Can-Demet's confession didn't stir the pot for the sake of drama. It wasn't about stirring up old flames or creating headlines. It was simply about acknowledging something beautiful that had once been and might still be. Some critics accused him of fueling nostalgia, others praised him for his sensitivity. But Can-Demet, in his characteristic humility, didn't seem interested in the reaction. His only intention was to express what he had kept inside for so long, to release those words that had been trapped within him. Sometimes, he said, words have to be released so that the soul can breathe. It was a simple yet profound statement, one that showed his intent wasn't to spark controversy, but to pay tribute to a love story that had left a lasting mark. There was also an unmistakable hint of sadness in his words, a certain pain that only someone who truly understands could convey. He spoke of how, in one of Can's most difficult times, he had been there for him, not with grand speeches or advice, but with silent support. He mentioned how Demet, during moments of solitude, clung to the small, private memories of their time together, memories that no one else could fully understand. That shared vulnerability, even in their separate lives, proved to Can-Demet that the love between them still lingered. When asked if he believed there could be a reunion between Can and Demet in the future, Can-Demet's response was as enigmatic as it was poetic. Love is not measured in happy endings, but in what it leaves inside, even if it cannot be seen from the outside. With that, he closed the chapter, leaving everyone to ponder what might have been and what could still be. After his emotional revelation, both Can and Demet remained silent. There were no denials, no clarifications, no public statements. But those close to them claimed that, despite their silence, they had heard every word. And for the first time in a long time, those words made them stop and reflect. It wasn't about rekindling the past, but about acknowledging it. It was about reconciling with what was and what might never be again. The impact of Can-Demet's confession didn't hit immediately, but as the days passed, the reverberations grew louder. The media picked up the story, fans flooded social media with messages, and the networks buzzed with speculation. But Can-Demet didn't speak again. It was as if his mission had been completed with that one poignant moment, no more, no less. He wasn't seeking the limelight. He was simply a witness, a sensitive and honest one at that. Because sometimes, it takes someone from the outside to help us see what we refuse to see ourselves. And so, Can-Demet Yilisoy's confession became part of a story that had long been dormant. He didn't revive it, nor did he bury it. He left it suspended in the air, like a question that might never have an answer, but which still remains alive in the hearts of those who remember. True love, as Can-Demet reminded us, isn't always visible. Sometimes it keeps quiet, but it never truly disappears. It just learns to stay silent. Well, dear followers, that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into a story that still haunts the hearts of many. Don't forget to stay tuned for more sensational updates. Hit that subscribe button, share this video, and turn on your notifications to be the first to know when we drop fresh content. Stay healthy, and until next time, goodbye.